Hey folks, and welcome to some more Boston Red Sox franchise here on the Tisbury 33 Games channel on MLB The Show 25. I just want to again thank you for joining us here today, and we have the big change episode. We're going to be drafting some guys. We are going to be watching All-Star festivities. We'll be trading for some guys, and we have a 58-29 record, one of two teams in the league to have 50-plus wins, and the other team is the 60-win Dodgers. So it's us and the Dodgers right around 60 wins. Everyone else is still climbing 450. So first off, I wanted to try to check on our statistics and see kind of where we rank and what we're going to be looking for. In terms of offensively, we're actually bottom half. Only a 240 batting average, really kept high by Connor Wong, who I think is leading for the batting title right now. Rafael Devers, the third best batting average on our team, is 242. So not great. If we look at runs, how many runs are we scoring? Well, while we're not hitting very well, we are scoring still the 10th most runs in the league. Hits all the way down here at 21st. Doubles. Looks like we're actually pretty good. 14th, so middle of the pack. Jordan Walker actually has the most doubles on our team. Triples, we have some speed, so I'm sure we're near the top. And as I say that, we are lying. I have no clue where the hell we are. 13th in triples. Home runs, we are 12th. RBI, we are 11th. So while we're not hitting for much average, when we are hitting the ball, we are doing damage. We are moving runners over. We are getting to where we need to be. Stealing bases, really, it's just Jarren Duran. Simpson really hasn't gotten on enough to really be a factor in the time he was playing. Caught stealing, we're not getting caught too often. Stolen base percentage puts us right there in 13th. So it could be better, is what it is. Walks, are we walking a whole bunch? Looks like we aren't really. 23rd in walks. Strikeouts offensively, looks like we are striking out a whole bunch. So what is the plan then? Slugging percentage, still kind of just down here at 19th. On base percentage, down all the way back. So our offense hasn't been there, which again is super weird for this team. The pitching has been so absolutely phenomenal. We haven't been grounding out no plays, which I guess is a thing. If we look at fielding percentage, we are 9th, so we are one of the top defending teams in the league. But this is where we make our scratch. ERA, first in ERA. Shutouts, third. Saves, we are 4th. Blown saves, we only have 9 blown saves all year. Hits allowed, we're top 10. Runs allowed, we're number 1. Earned runs, number 1. Home runs allowed, number 1. Walks allowed, number 1. Strikeouts, number 4. Win percentage, number 2. So it's pitching has gotten us to this point. We need to bolster up some offense. Let's kind of check out the team and where we need to make a change. And really, second base. I kind of looked a little bit in between episodes on, is there a second baseman on a team that's not very good, or even a third baseman, a shortstop. So we can do a whole bunch of things. If we have a good shortstop, we can move Marcelo Meyer over second base. Even Alex Bregman can play some second base, and I'm not opposed to that. Especially with the offensive output we get. If we get a real big bopping third baseman, move Bregman over. That'd be awesome. Or a shortstop or a second baseman that can hit well. That is what we're looking for. That's what we're looking at. We did update our trade block. If we look at who we have on our block, all just prospects. Perales, Hernandez, Connolly Early, Brian Mata, Hunter Domids, Alex Pinellas, Luis Ravello, and Jeremiah Jackson. Just guys that we could potentially move around. Now, these guys won't be getting those super high players back in return, but maybe by just starting dialogues, upping the ante on our end, we do have a couple of high-level prospects we can move around. Yeah, that is what it is. The only thing that does suck, if you look at the best pieces, Johnny Turner is probably our best trade chip, but we have him in the rotation as of now. Brian Bayo out for a little bit, and Tanner Houck still about a week or two away. So pretty soon we'll be having a decision. Most likely, Johnny Turner will be staying up with us, and a guy like Cooper Criswell will be moving down to AAA. Nori Hayashi, really good, but he's out for the rest of the year. We cannot trade Hayashi. Now, next year, we're going to have guys like Gonsolin, Houck, Alcantara. All three of those guys are off the books. We could just slide these guys up. I'm probably going to be looking to try to keep Sandy. We'll get to that when we get to that. But either way, we're going to have a spot for Turner and most likely Hayashi next year. So I'm not all too concerned about trading them at the moment. If we look back in our pitching, the only real top prospect we have, DJ Park, we could give up, or Peter Barnes, excuse me. I don't know if they're far enough along to get that big fish if we go fishing. And again, we don't really want a huge piece because we are committed to Christian Campbell at second base. But those are two of our bigger trade chips. At catcher, I don't think we're going to be getting rid of Velez. He's just the future. First base, again, Taylor Duval, a little bit too far away. Second base, we have some intriguing prospects here, but we kind of dipped out of this well a couple of times when we got Jordan Walker. Theo Gillen, do we flip him? I don't know. I do kind of like what he can potentially bring for us, and especially with Alex Bregman's future being up in the air after this year. Who knows what we do at third base. Shortstop, Bob Hernandez did jump up to A potential, which is fun. So maybe Hernandez, a guy that's already as old as Marcelo Meyer. And Marcelo Meyer isn't really going anywhere. Tom Frazier as well, he's actually out for the year. Maybe Bob Hernandez become now one of our top trade chips. Now, maybe in the future, who knows, maybe wait a year or two, but Hernandez could be on the move. Joe Swift as well. Kevin Alcantara, he's hurt, but he's doing really well in AA, but struggled in AAA. And that's really it in terms of like our top prospects that we can give up. So let's simulate. Let's see what's going on. We'll probably see you in the draft unless anything else happens, but we'll see you very shortly. So, unfortunately, DJ Park got shoulder tightness, like we mentioned before, with just players not getting as injured as long. We don't have really any like elbow surgery, shoulder surgeries. Anyone that has tightness or anything related to like a minor injury due to their shoulders or elbows or arms for pitchers, will spin a dice. 1 to 10, anything 4 and below, they'll be put on the shelf that they need to get surgery. Anything 5 and above, they're free to just have the minor setback. Unfortunately, DJ Park did roll a 2. He'll be missing the rest of the year. So not only do we not get to see DJ Park for the rest of the year, this is what his numbers look like so far in AA. 16 starts, 6-1 record, a 2.18 ERA. Had been awesome. He will be going on the shelf for the rest of the year. And not only do we not get to see him, we don't get to trade him either in case that's what we want to do. So DJ Park will be going on the bench, and I'll be doing that again. Every time I see an injury, I kind of go scope. So far, no one really has gone on the mend. Usually, like, if you get hurt in April, beginning of May, I don't do anything but past May because in the off season, if you tear your Achilles on the last day of the season, you're out for a year. As soon as the off season hit, all the injuries reset. So we're going to manually put DJ Park on the shelf, and he will be on the shelf until July of next year, unfortunately, or around June of next year. So, all right, there you go. DJ Park, he's out. A big one, and just going through these injuries, a big one that goes down, Tyler Glasnow again. He's going to go on the shelf. He had a strained pectoral, and he rolled a 2 as well, so he'll also be gone a year. That's definitely the biggest one I've seen. A couple minor leaguers. This is our 5th injury we've gotten through this session. So Tyler Glasnow will be going on the shelf. That's brutal. Big blow to us here. Brock Burke also broke his hand. He'll be 2 to 3 months. Throw him on the 15-day IL, but we're going to have to make a move to bring a reliever up. And through this time, we did lose a few here, so we're 3-3 so far to start this video. Looking at what we have in relievers, we have plenty, I think, to choose from. Zach Kelly and Sam Bachman, Greg Weissert, Luis Guerrero. We're going to be bringing Zach Kelly up to the major leagues over the better part of a couple seasons here. He's thrown about 111-ish innings for us over the last 2 years. Pretty good ERA, was good last year in his limited time, so we're going to be putting him in. Don't keep that lefty. We do still have AJ Puck there. It wasn't really a lefty to go out and get. Maybe like a Chris Murphy who's pitching well, but we will keep it with Zach Kelly, so we don't have to make a 40-man move. Zach Kelly up, and I'll move some things around as well. We're right before the draft. The Angels are the number 1 pick, and we're just going to go through all the guys we were looking at over this course of the last couple of weeks. I think we have a good amount of guys who we have at least 50 or so scouting, if not more, on. A lot of these guys are lower rated that we like a little bit more than the consensus, and that's how you have to win in the draft when you're picking where we are. There are a couple of guys we think we can get some real good value out of later in the draft. I think we have a pretty good crop of guys who are in different pockets of where we draft. Overall, I think it's pretty good after we scroll through, and then feel free to pause and see any special ratings if there's a guy that you maybe haven't seen before, a guy that you kind of want to look into more. We're not going to go over every single guy here right now, but just some of the guys that we have a decent amount of scouting on. We kind of like that potential range. Again, in this game, I kind of just go for the best potential. Here are some guys that I like a lot. Adrian Gomez is number 1 on our board, a righty from Tennessee, a high schooler. Good velocity, changeup, sinker, slider, two-seamer. A real good pitch mix. Someone maybe we can get 62 on MLB's board, number 1 on our board. We like him a lot. Another guy we like, Vinny Ortiz, 88 on the draft rank, 3rd on our draft rank. Can get up there with a fastball, changeup, sinker, slider as well. Michael Russin, we talked about him a little bit. Gustavo Olivo, we scouted him a little bit here. I don't know, this is maybe if he slips, but still, I mean, he looks all right. Curveball, circle change, cutter, slider, and four-seamer with some good velocities on those. John Pipp, a guy that just has good potential range. Tom Hagen, we talked about. Kurt Torres, we got Stephen Paul Bickey, and then John Norman, who's probably going to be our pick. I think just the most surefire slam dunk guy here. He might be a year or two out, but yeah, no, this is very most likely our number 1 pick. So we have some other guys. Kiki Kelly I like as well. A good potential range as a high schooler. 110 overall. Our 30th ranked prospect. Really good fielding athlete. Okay bat. And some more guys around the way. So let us go to the draft as we see what we got going on here. Again, the draft will be Angels, Colorado, Tampa Bay. We don't pick until 29th. So, again, the name of the game. How many of these guys can we keep on the board as possible? Let's see. Number 1 overall pick this year. It's going to be Edgar Fernandez. Number 7 overall, our 17th, the second baseman. Number 2 overall to Colorado, I believe. Shout out the Rockies. Get Nolan Paquette, the number 1 ranked prospect from Maine. Would love to be able to get him. We'll see how good he is. He looked very interesting, but wouldn't have been anywhere near where we were picking. And then Stephen Paul Bickey, the guy that we had, a utility guy. This is a Rays player, if I've ever seen one. This is as Ben Zobrist I've ever seen. But still, a guy that we have better guys on the board. So let us see if anyone goes. Chicago, they get Michael Russin. So we had him 4th. He ends up getting drafted 4th. So already we have some guys that we think, hey, maybe they're there at 29. They end up going. Jason Kreisha, didn't have him. This is what he looked like. High contact, the prototypical, we get 75,000 of these guys. High contact, high plate skills, good fielding, low power. Clemente Benitez, high power center fielder who looks like he's probably going to have to shift to a corner. Tony Silva, the first pitcher off the board, I believe. Really good peripherals. Not going to strike out a whole bunch of guys. Fastball plays, curveball, changeup to go along. Sean Barreto, another guy that we didn't have on our board, so that's good. Good hits per 9, but only a 3-pitch mix. San Diego, they take Esteban Gutierrez, number 2 ranked draft prospect. We had him falling after scouting a little bit, but very high power, can also catch. Looks like a very good bat. Jordan Diaz, we had him number 2 on our board, but number 14th overall. We didn't think he would last to us, and we were correct. He looks very good with a cutter, changeup, sweeper, curveball, splitter mix. Juan Franco, he goes. Another guy we did not have on our board. 2 fastballs, a slider, changeup. Todd Lemieux, another big power corner outfielder with really good speed as well. Raul Luis, another huge power. Looks like one of the more pro-ready guys off rip, and we're going to be very interested to see what he looks like. And going to 13 is probably a steal. Beckett Caps, he was a high potential second baseman, another one of those high contact, high plate skills guy. Roger McDermott, he goes. So halfway through, our board's looking pretty good. Only 1 or 2 guys going off the board that we thought maybe could fall to us. John Pipp, another riser. So the Cleveland Guardians like what they saw at Pipp. Not the highest of velocity, but can move some stuff around. Ojeda, yeah, that we thought about maybe jumping into, but opted out. Figured I didn't really want to take that risk. Good contact, real good athlete. Willie Humber, a faller, a 8th ranked draft prospect. We had him at 23, and he goes here at 18. Looks like good bat against lefties. Really good arm. Maybe he switches over to a third base or something. Nicholas Geronimo, he fell hard. Again, switch hitter, big power first baseman, and really good fielding attributes. Kurt Torres, a big guy going off here. More athlete than anything, but a groomable bat. Hayden Groves, looks like just probably one of the best players in the draft. You look at what he can potentially be, see if Orioles develop him. Mickey Rose, he goes. And now, we are about 7 picks away. Rose, a starting pitcher, a left-hander from high school. Gustavo Olivo, another left-hander, and this is one of the guys that we had. He goes to the Yankees. High velocity on the fastball and the slider. Has a cutter, curveball, and a circle change to play off of that. Alex Fairchild, another riser that we had. We had him 12th, 36th consensus. He goes 24th. Donnie Rankin, didn't really love him. Really good athlete, really good fielder from Massachusetts. Brian Good, looks like he was lower in the potential range, so we kind of gave up trying to get him for our first round pick, but would have loved him if he fell. Benjamin Hurst, he goes. He's injured. We'll see if that really affects him. Probably wasn't going to be our pick, but we're going to get someone really good here after Fernando Pinto goes. Who are we going to pick? I think we got to go John Norman. These guys potentially could be there later on. We next pick at 63. We're going to hope that they're there at 63, but we're going to go John Norman. Go get your guy. 86 to 96 potential. We get the catcher. John Norman is going to be our first pick this year, and I'm very excited about that. All right, let's see who Los Angeles takes at 30. I guess we'll see who the Cardinals get at 31. Almost would have been us. Marcelo Meyer did that prospect incentives pick. Charles Winchester goes. Wasn't really on our radar. And then 31 is going to go to St. Louis, and they take Columbus Miller. So we will see you in our next pick and see which of these guys are still on the board. So right now, Kiki Kelly seems like the pick. It looks like none of our starters made it that we really liked. A couple here. Just trying to find. We have some time. Torrey Miller, he went. Loved him. We thought we could get him a little bit later on. Where did these guys go? Tom Hagen, he goes here. Tommy Burris went. Vinny Ortiz goes. Adrian Gomez went here to Cleveland. Cleveland got a couple of our guys. And then in the second round, Charlie Wilkerson, a guy we like. Lon Ellis, a guy we like. So, again, looking at the potential, Kiki Kelly, at worst, probably be good. Be a little ways away. Josh Green, high school arm, a little bit too fluctuating here. Anthony Yabu, I think with being non-ranked, we might be able to get him. Earl Fernandez maybe has the best potential right now. Does have a good fastball, changeup combo. I kind of want to get him just to make sure we get a good pitcher in this class. I think that's where we're going to go. We're going to go with the righty, Earl Fernandez. Hopefully, Kelly is there after this. He is 110 ranked on our board. I feel like Fernandez could go a little bit later, or right around here. So we're going to get a draft Earl Fernandez. Again, go for the potential, and that's what we're going to go with. And a bunch of our guys ended up leaving us with only a minute to pick. Looks like Reese Palmeiro by the Yankees. I liked him. And then where is Kiki Kelly? He went literally the next pick at 64. Thought we could get him later on, but I don't know. Is what it is. On our list is Josh Green and Anthony Yabu. 2 pitchers. Don't really love either of them. I think we are going to go Green here, and 5 pitch mix, potential to be a little bit better. 45th on our board. We're going to do some scouting through on, but already looking like not a great. And Yabu's off, so we'll be picking in the dark for the next couple of rounds. So let's see what we got out there. Todd Rudy. Don't love the rest of this draft. We're going to be trying to get some potential studs here. Kind of see what we have left. And I guess we're going to go Todd Rudy for right now. And he'll be pick 135 again in the dark for the next couple of picks. Neil Smalls here, a high schooler. See if we can do anything with him. But the only real 99 potential guy left in the draft. And we're going to get Louis Friedberg. We had him 120 on our board. 4 pitch mix. And it's going to get him, and not the best of drafts, I don't think. We'll see how it shapes up in a moment. But yeah, that is the end of the 2027 first-year player draft, and I'm excited to see what everyone looks like here in just a moment. We're back here to check on our prospects, and oh boy, did we hit where we needed to hit, or what? 3 B or more better potentials, and then 3 high C's. So let's kind of check out what everyone looks like. John Norman, our first round pick, 62 overall, is going to come in with 95 potential, so right near the top. Looks like decent fielding to start, good power, especially against lefties, and everything else in a decent spot. This is a guy that can play the corners in the infield. We're really, really excited about John Norman. Next up, 88 potential, Earl Fernandez. Big break, big velocity, big stamina. Everything else is going to have to trickle its way up. Only 52 overall to start, so a guy that's going to be some ways away. But with a 4-pitch mix and maybe probably making the big leagues in the next 5 years, and more of a project for us, he's going to be a guy that's going to be slotting in, I would say, in a while. But that means when he comes up, eventually 27, 26, we have a really good pitcher for cheap control for basically his whole career. So I'm fine with guys like this, especially since we're a team that can spend money and can be able to supplement talent in those years we're waiting for development. Unlike a team like the Marlins or the Rockies, where they kind of need to get guys going up pretty quick because they have to keep turning over. We have the, advantage of letting guys develop like this and still being competitive. So that's good. Josh Green, our 3rd pick, comes in with a 79 potential, 61 overall, pretty good everywhere. Nothing standing out. Home runs per 9 are a little bit low, but we like what he's bringing to the table. Todd Rudy, he comes in from the Dominican Republic. Guy's named Todd for sure. 4-seam fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, high strikeouts, high walks, gonna give up hits, gonna give up home runs. Interesting profile, maybe a reliever. Not a whole bunch of break. I'm interested to see how this guy goes. 72 overall out of the jump, 76 actual potential. So that guy that will be playing pretty shortly. We hit on Neil Smalls. Now he is ways away, only 43 overall, but does come in at 86 overall potential. This is a flyer we took. Decent athlete, contact over power at the moment. Yeah, 43 overall. It will be a while till we see Neil Smalls. And then Louis Friedberg, we got a starting pitcher, 59 overall. Decent break, decent velocity, lower end velocity. Can go deep into games. We'll see what he ends up becoming. So let's check out the rest of the league and see any big guys. Eric Kent, a big get for the Orioles. They add another high-profile starting pitcher to their ranks and a pretty good showing overall. They got Hayden Groves, their first pick. He ended up being a pretty good bat out at the gate and has some room for development, but isn't a top-tier guy by any stretch of the imagination. Yankees draft was okay. Reese Palmeiro, a guy that we had on our board, 85 potential. I would have taken that. Can play first and second as well as natural third base. He'll be a while till he develops, though. Samuel Jimenez, they got 92 overall potential. A potential guy, shortstop they got late in the draft. So, these guys would be a pain in our neck at some point. Rays, they took Stephen Palbicki. He ended up being on the lower end of his potential and overall scale. So he'll be a while till he gets up, but still be potential. Can play anywhere. Be interesting to see for him. Lee Hugh, look at this. Scouted potential was 86 to 98. They thought they found a gem. Actually, a 65 potential. I love this. This is awesome. I love players like this, and especially love it when I don't pick them. So look at that. And yeah, they went on the low end on a lot of guys here. Went for some high schoolers. Did not hit on a bunch of them. A poor draft for the Rays. Jason Krisa, a good pick for the Blue Jays. Again, high contact, high plate skills, good fielding, high speed type player. 1980s leadoff man. And then Chris Sanchez they got later on in the draft with some big pop. He is 18 years old and not too far away, and 97 potential for him. So over the scouted potential, 92 is where the high end was, ends up being a 97. Interesting. No one else they drafted that we kind of was looking at. Michael Russin, only get for the White Sox. He's, again, a little ways away, 87 overall potential. John Pipp we had, and Adrian Gomez. Adrian Gomez was number 1 on our board. I'm glad I went with my gut instead of what the board said. He's still 87 potential. Would have been great to get at pick 29, but we get a 95 or 96 potential, whatever guy we had. And they get a good starter. He's a bit away. John Pipp ends up being really good right now. But does have a ceiling. Just, still 84 potential is actually not that bad. And he actually looks pretty good. 77 Ks per 9. He could be a pretty decent player. A good middle of the rotation guy for them in the future. Did not get Roger McDermott. Did not sign Robbie Hooley. And did not sign Brian Hargrave. So striking out all over the place was the Detroit Tigers. Raul Ojeda ended up being pretty good at 93 overall potential. Twins, not a great draft. The Astros got Raul Luis, who ended up being 76 overall wide away, but only 79 potential. I would love to see more guys like this in the game. So they did not hit on the potential, but he can help right away. Again, I would love to see more of these guys in the way. 4-year college guys that can play pretty soon, but don't have super high potential. Put more of these guys in the game, please. Goodness gracious. Vinny Ortiz, I think we had him on our board. He ended up being an 88 potential. He looks pretty solid. Walk prevention, the name of his game. Then other than that, some hits, some here. Edgar Fernandez, the number 1 overall pick, ended up being 72 overall, 89 potential. So the Angels stacking up some decent prospects that they have. They're going with the guys who are pretty much major league ready with maybe a little bit lower potentials. But we saw with the Salvatore Ramirez, their number 1 pick last year, or top pick last year, he was a B potential. It's already an A potential after just playing in the major leagues. Bill Brookshire ends up being 95 potential, and they also got an 89 potential in Jordan Diaz, our number 2 guy on our board, or 3 guy on the board. And then other than that, so pretty good job by the A's. Jesus Maraville ended up being 90 overall potential. Fernando Pinto, 75 potential, 60 overall. Not a good draft for Texas. Decent draft for, what's the name I'm looking for? Atlanta with Enrique Negron, 85 potential, and Nicky Tate from Hawaii ends up being 84 potential. So interesting draft by them. Jamie Madrid, 88 overall, a catcher for the Fish. Brian James, a good closer. Lon Ellis, a good third baseman that we had on our board. Tony Silva ended up being okay. So, again, some good hits with one maybe all-star caliber player here for Miami. Mickey Rose, the top yet for the Mets, but Steven Ruiz, who's going to be the best player out of the bunch. Oliver Pena, 97 overall in the 4th round here by Philadelphia. Real good get from them. Juan Franco ends up being 86 potential. Tommy Burris, the guy we had on our board, 77 overall. And Roberto Ibarra, 86 overall potential relief pitchers. Interesting. Clemente Benitez, big power center fielder, ends up having 89 potential, 64 overall day 1. Tom Hagen, 92 potential. We had him on our board. He went 2nd round to the Cubs. Again, good pick by them, a guy that we would have liked, but ultimately went, I think, in the right direction. Todd Lemieux had a good potential. Benjamin Hurst, he got hurt, and it's going to kill his career. Not going to be really anything for the Brewers. Torrey Miller ended up being pretty good, a guy that was taken by the Pirates, who we wanted. Sean Koufax did well. Nicholas Geronimo, not great with the first pick, but they hit everywhere, basically everywhere else. Adam Gonzalez, also high potential. Sean Barreto, 89 potential for the Cardinals. Amare Irizarry, 82. Kurt Torres ended up being pretty good. Had him on our board. Tavio Sinet, 82 as well. Nolan Paquette did not have that number 1 billing. He ended up going number 2. Ended up not being that great. The actual potential being worse than his scouted potential range. So a tough get for the Rockies, but they did get Jacob Dawkins. It's going to be a really good reliever. Probably is good enough to be a starter and probably will convert him to a starter. I like to have guys 60 more stamina become starters for teams because that's just more valuable, and that's what they would do with them. Kiki Kelly, 93 overall, a potential, of course, and the Dodgers get him with the next pick after us in that 2nd round. So 93 potential for them, but they did not sign 2 of their guys. Esteban Gutierrez, 83 overall. Anthony Yabu, we had on our board. Glad we did not pick up him, 75. And Beckett Cap, 79 for the Giants. Good contact guy right away. Eli Costa, Stephen Park are going to be pretty darn good. I think I got everyone that I wanted to get. Maybe I'll do one scoop through and just see if there's anyone that I liked that kind of fell through the cracks here. Give me a second. So let's check on the All-Stars for this year's squad, and it is Carlos Rodon leading the pack for the American League and starting pitching at Brant Herter, Sandy Alcantara, Zach Eflin, and Ranger Suarez also represented. So those are your 5 starting pitchers, including 1 from our team. No Garrett Crochet, which is interesting, but is what it is. Relief pitchers, Garrett Whitlock. So we do have a Garrett on the All-Star team. It just is Whitlock, not Crochet. He's been awesome. He's been doing his multi-inning thing. 49 games, 68 innings, 6-2 record, 1.18 ERA. Absolutely filthy. We also have another pitcher, Evan Phillips, our closer, rated the best closer in the American League with 34 saves already. Yohan Duran, Lucas Urseg, Emmanuel Clase, Josh Hader, and Mason Miller also get in the mix as well. Adley Rutschman, Ryan Jeffers, and Alejandro Kirk are your catchers. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Luis Arraez are your first basemen. Jazz Chisholm, Brendan Donovan, two former Red Sox, Brendan Donovan and David Hamilton, make the All-Star team at second base. And it's interesting that we need a second baseman. We traded away 2 All-Star second basemen. Donovan has deserved, Hamilton probably just because the Rays are bad and they needed somebody, and they picked David Hamilton. Devers, he is an All-Star with 31 home runs, and Ramirez, an All-Star with 24. Bobby Witt Jr., Gunnar Henderson, and Bo Bichette, another stacked All-Star class of shortstops in the American League. Outfielders go like this: Reynolds, Wyatt Langford, Yordan Alvarez, Stephen Kwan, Julio Rodriguez, Kyle Tucker, and Brent Rooker, with your DHs being Devers, Reynolds, Arraez, and Rooker. The National League, Paul Skeens, old friend Cutter Crawford here. So what are we up to? 4 of our own guys, 7 Red Sox All-Stars at some point, at least in this series already. Rhett Lauder, Jared Jones, Aaron Nola, and of course Shohei Ohtani, Robert Stevenson, the relief pitcher that gets in, and then Ryan Walker, Pete Fairbanks, Tanner Scott, Ryan Helsley, Edwin Diaz, and Peter Hodge are your closers. Will Smith, William Contreras, and Ivan Herrera, all your catchers. Matt Olson and Jonah Bride are your first basemen. Ozzie Albies, Nico Horner, Bryce Terang, and Ketel Marte. Second base, Matt Chapman, Brady House are your third baseman. Mookie Betts, Ezekiel Tovar, former Rockies great Ezekiel Tovar at shortstop. Outfield is Schwarber, Wood, and Brandon Nimmo. Michael Harris the second, and Corbin Carroll, Fernando Tatis Jr., with Shohei and Schwarber being your DHs. In the home run derby here, and we do have a player that is participating. I won't be playing, but it's Rafael Devers, who has, I think, like 27, 28 home runs through this point, and then some notable faces: Schwarber, Nolan Gorman. Shout out Nolan Gorman. So it's Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, Shohei Ohtani, Jose Ramirez, Rafael Devers, Brandon Nimmo, Gunnar Henderson, and Nolan Gorman. So we'll just be simming again. We won't be checking in on Devers, but let's see how the home run derby unfolds. So it looks like Devers, Henderson, Schwarber, and Ohtani are your top four after the first round. It looks like Kyle Tucker, Nolan Gorman, Brandon Nimmo, and Jose Ramirez going home. It's Rafi and Schwarber, two former teammates, going head-to-head in the championship. We'll see who comes out on top. It is Kyle Schwarber, who's 16 home runs in the championship round, beat out Devers 14, and Kyle Schwarber is your home run derby champion. Kyle from Waltham, everybody. Jumping right into the All-Star festivities, we have a couple of All-Stars this year. We just kind of met them. It's Rafael Devers, Sandy Alcantara, Garrett Whitlock, and Evan Phillips. So three pitchers and our best hitter. And he strikes out on the Paul Skeens pitch there. Paul Skeens' first strikeout of the day. Devers now in a 3-2 count. 2 on, a real lengthy at-bat, and just ahead of the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. And pops this one sky high that the catcher, I believe Will Smith, is under to make the catch. We then bring in Sandy Alcantara. He did not have a real good outing. He only lasts 2/3 of an inning, and this is the reason why. He gives a double to Brandon Nimmo here, the number 9 hitter, on base to begin the third inning. And later on, you got Corbin Carroll. He's going to sauce one into left field. Reynolds is in. He's been DHing all year, hasn't really played much of the outfield. Devers also playing his first third base really since forever ago. And so you have 2 DHs on the field right now for Alcantara. Does finally get a pop fly from Ozzie Albies. Number 3 hitter, though, up next is Mookie Betts. Mookie grounder to Devers. He can't turn the double play, as again does not get the glove. He probably doesn't have to even own one. He probably had to borrow this one to get in the game, and then that brings in Fernando Tatis Jr. It should have been 2 outs, end of the inning, and instead you see the farthest home run you ever seen hit in your life. Only 436, only 111 off the bat. Not the craziest metrics on that, but an absolute blast by Fernando Tatis Jr. Watch this real quick. Boom! Yeah, that's an absolute crack of the bat by Tatis. He's an absolute menace. That chases, what's-his-face, Alcantara out of the game. We didn't bring in Garrett Whitlock just to get him. He gets 1 pitch, 1 ground out. Rafael Devers helps him out a little bit, and he's able to get out of the inning. So that's the only pitch Whitlock threw on the day. He finishes with just a third of an inning thrown. Shout out him. Devers up for his third and final at-bat, gets dotted by old friend Cutter Crawford, who's having an exceptional season. And here in Wrigley Field, his new home, picks up the strikeout on Devers. Devers finishes the day 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Alcantara, spoiler alert, will pick up the loss in 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, that 1 home run. Whitlock goes 1 pitch, 1 out. That was a pretty nice day at the office, and Evan Phillips is going to complete 1 inning of work. Does not get a strikeout or anything. A couple of flyouts and a ground out is the day for Evan Phillips. That was our all-star representation in the major leagues. The NL does win 8-5. A valiant effort towards the end by the American League, but the National League does hold on in the friendly confines to pick up the all-star win. So we had, again, 4 All-Stars 2 of them did not perform well at all. The other 2 were just fine and dandy. And now we make our way over to the Future Stars game, where we do have one representative. That representative is our top prospect, Dominic Alez. He is going to get the start here, catching for the American League side here back in Wrigley Field. And Alez, again, we've talked about Alez a whole bunch of times. He's been the focus point in 2 of our last 2. I guess we have 3. Our last 2 minor league episodes, we've seen a lot of him. He did not have a good performance here. He does go 0 for 3 and does strike out 3 times. Right there, start the game. This one to Andre Fortenberry, who I believe was the first pick of this entire series, maybe? I know he was a high pick. I think he was the first overall pick one year somewhere. Les 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. But again, still marinating in single A. Next year, I think, is going to be the year that we finally call him up to double A and let him kind of roll, let him kind of work and see how he does. And if he does struggle, we can always drop him down. Just 20 years old heading into next year as well. Definitely some time to do exactly what he needs to do in single A to move his ratings up. Obviously, the development of him is probably our most important task in organization right now in terms of player development. He is the one we really want to develop into a star. And obviously, after just drafting a really good catcher as well, we have a real good chance of having a stud at that. All right, trade we're going to make a smaller trade, nothing too crazy. Looking around, this seems to be the best bet. We're going to be getting Brendan Rodgers from the Atlanta, the Los Angeles Angels. Angels very much out of it. What does Brendan Rodgers do for us? Well, really good contact bat. As we saw, we were really low in terms of things like average, hits, stuff like that. Bringing him in to be kind of a bottom of the order bat who can keep moving runners along. Good, decent clutch, good vision, not going to strike out a whole bunch. So far this year, 94 hits in 94 games, 48 runs, 12 doubles, 16 home runs, which would be a career high, especially someone who played in Colorado. That's a nice little power bump in just 94 games as well. 43 runs batted in, walks a decent amount, 789 OPS so far this year, 2.7 wins above replacement. You will take that again, basically a career high for him. We'll also be getting Weston Wilson. Now, what does Weston Wilson do for us? Well, if you notice, this looks a lot like Romy Gonzalez, but just a little bit better. 93 contact, 73 power against lefties. Decent speed, better fielding than what Romy offers. Can play all the same positions. Last year in the big leagues, 751 OPS in 142 games. In 90 games in AAA this year, 854 OPS. Who are we giving up in the package? Not too much. We're giving up Christian Hernandez. If you remember from the prospect video, this is the guy who started for us. Had a great game. This is a minor league free agent we picked up, and he's pretty good this year. 3.17 ERA, 91 strikeouts, and 99 innings in AAA, 8-5 on the year. A WAR of 2.4. We're also throwing in Blaze Jordan. Blaze Jordan, I believe in Blaze Jordan in real life. Maybe not, but in this game, maybe a change of scenery can help him out. Isn't hitting too terribly well, already down in single A, but the Angels have a very old farm system in terms of first baseman, so just giving them a 24-year-old who's in terms of major league ready, maybe another year or two can kind of punch in. Is he going to be someone for the Angels? Probably not, but really the big trade is Rodgers for Hernandez. We're throwing in Jordan. They're giving us Weston Wilson. They're not going to be competing this year. Give them maybe some tools for the future. Small trade here. We're trying to get some more pitching depth in our organization. And Ronald Rosario is going to be going to Cleveland, a catcher who is pretty good, has good ratings, see potential. We do like him, but obviously catcher is really stacked with Eduardo Tate and Dominic Alez, and then the catcher, John Norman, that we just drafted. We're going to get rid of Ronald Rosario. We do like him, but we are going to send him over to Cleveland for Tino Salcedo. He is a starting pitcher, just adding some depth. We really need some more depth in our pitching department, so we're going to make a couple of small trades here just to get some of that depth back and send from a surplus and a position player depth. But super big break. Doesn't walk a whole bunch of guys. Capped at D potential. This might be as good as he gets, but definitely a fine a AA, AAA stash guy for us. So we're making that trade, and we give Cleveland a catcher that they need in their organization. Another trade making Max Ferguson, an infielder who's primarily a first baseman, but probably with his fielding and athleticism probably more suited for somewhere else. We have him playing first base right now. We are sending him over to Seattle. We're getting Winston Santos back. Again, just depth for depth. Nothing too special here. Just trying to regain some depth in our pitching department. Another trade we're making, Alex Benelis is going to go over to Atlanta. They need some depth in their third base region. And we are going to get Lucas Braun, probably the best prospect we picked up so far on this 1-for-1 swap. A 6th-round pick in 2023. Going to come in with a 4-seamer slider, curveball, changeup combo. And again, just pretty wrap us off. No one else I wanted to check on in terms of the draft guys. But again, very good draft for us. 95 potential, 88 potential, 86 potential, and a couple of high 70s overall. Let's, I guess, real quick, just check the midseason prospect rankings. Dominique Alez up to number 5. Pearson still number 1. Peter Koufax now up to number 2, and close to the show, Richie Springer up to number 3, also close to the show. DJ Park up to number 9. Looks like our good friend Turner has graduated. It will be anybody else on the list that we can see. Nori Hiyashi getting down for the year. He's pretty close as well. He's he's 40th overall on the board. Peter Barnes has jumped into the top 100. He's been in and out, but now up to 68 after he's developed a little bit. And I believe that's going to do it for us. A couple of new additions, but here are the new top 5. Dwayne Bart, who we liked. He's close. Leland Freidenberg. He's very interesting. He's close to the show as well. So that's going to do it here. Again, 74 wins right now. Best in the big leagues. We check out the rest of the year. We have Texas, Los Angeles. We have the Dodgers, who will probably play next episode, and Baltimore, who will probably play next episode. So we'll probably have a big episode dedicated here. But for the most part, a couple of teams in the mix, a couple of teams that aren't in the mix, a nice dose of teams that are good, teams that aren't. Really favorable schedule here towards the end. We have the Yankees twice, and then Toronto, Tampa Bay, and the Yankees the only one having a winning record there. So after we get through the stretch of Baltimore, we'll see how much of the season we have left, but we will see you next time with some more Boston Red Sox. Again, this is how everyone is kind of shaping up coming in to the end of the season. Jarren Duran picking things up a little bit. Alex Bregman, he's on fire. 395 average in his last 10. Rafael Devers continues to be Rafael Devers. Only 1 home run in his last 10 games, but it came against Baltimore where we needed it. Tristan Casas, he's starting to really show up. 15 home runs, 257 average, and a 849 OPS, down 7 against power against lefties, though. Connor Wong, a little cold. We could not expect his super insane season to continue, and it's starting to come down to earth a little bit, but he's been awesome. Marcelo Meyer, power has been there. Contact and average hasn't, but if he's giving us decent pop from this part of the lineup, I'll take it. Just kind of cut down the strikeouts. Jordan Walker, he's been kind of turning things around and has had a pretty good stretch with us, coming in hitting 230 or so. So he's jumped his batting average up a decent amount and already near career high in doubles. So playing with the monster really, really well. Brendan Rodgers, his last 10 games with us, 341 average. He's been awesome. So love to see. Can't wait to get into action with Brendan Rodgers. And then Ceddanne Rafaela, he's been hitting as well. 405 in his last 10. So we're starting our offense starting to turn things around. Check in on our pitching rotation. Garrett Crochet, 161 strikeouts already at this juncture. juncture of the season. A 3.32 ERA. Real crazy he wasn't an all-star. Sandy Alcantara was, however, having a real fine season, his best year since Cy Young win in 2022. Tanner Houck, back from injury, has been great in his first 4 start backs. Only one bad start, his first start back, but since then, only 3 earned runs in 20 innings. So he's been awesome his last couple. Tony Gonsolin continues to just be a very, very good pickup for us. And 3 ERA his last 54 innings. And Brian Bayo as well. A 4.44 ERA his last 10 starts. Nope, that's his career. A 3.14 ERA his last 10 starts. Tough one against Baltimore here, but for the most part, has been giving us depth, has been giving us length. 8 innings here, 6 innings here. Back-to-back, 8 and 6 again. Great from Brian Bayo. Turner in the bullpen has pitched twice, has looked okay. Simeon Woods Richardson continues. AJ Puck, Garrett Whitlock, Zach Kelly, Michael Kopech, Justin Slayton, and Evan Phillips bring up the nastiest bullpen in the league. Who can stop us? Only God. Well, only God knows. We will see you next time here with more Red Sox franchise. And that'll be the show 25. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. Big things coming down the pike. We will see you next time. Maybe we'll look into contract extensions. We have a big series against Baltimore, big series against Los Angeles, and hopefully the Dog Days treat us well. See you next time, everybody. Have a great one. Thank you.